Hey, Steve Magnante here at High Octane Classics in Auburn, Massachusetts with a very special Chrysler. It's a 2005 Chrysler 300C. Now, if you don't remember, this is a very historic and significant vehicle for Chrysler Corporation. Before 2005 and the arrival of the LX platform, which has rear-wheel drive and an available Hemi, more on that in a second, Chrysler passenger cars were all about front-wheel drive, except for the Viper and, of course, the trucks, which could be had with rear-wheel drive. But this really marked a sea change in Chrysler's vehicle architecture. Of course, Daimler Chrysler were partners at this point in time, corporate partners, and a lot of the Daimler Mercedes-Benz DNA was found in the LX platform. And that was not a bad thing, but the great part is that instead of using Mercedes-Benz inline sixes and other motors, Chrysler had an American-brewed 5.7 Hemi standard feature on the Hemi C. Now you could also get these with V6s and even diesels in other countries, crazy stuff, but these were very popular. In fact, there was this Motor Trend's Car of the Year, and also Automobile Magazine voted the 2005 300C its Car of the Year. It was that special, that significant. The magic on these things really is the fact the styling is delicious, for one, styled by Chrysler's Ralph Gilles, G-I-L-L-E-S, it's not Gilles, it's Gilles, and he's the guy who gave these their beautiful lines. And the original Chrysler 300 letter series was known as the Beautiful Brute. When these came back in 2005, they were also the Beautiful Brute. Beautiful cars all the way around. The best part, again, is that rear-wheel drive, which allows power under the hood and spirited driving conditions. Now, the world kind of thought Chrysler's going crazy. What are they going to do? Rear-wheel drive is over. It's not going to happen. These are very successful, and they still are to this very day. And of course, these spawned the LX platform, or the LC, excuse me, the LC platform Challenger that we know and love today, which is going out of production like now. But these things, there's millions of these things on the road and all over the planet. So that's a great thing. Okay, let's look inside real quick and see how the interior of this car stacks up to the outside. It's stunning. Inside, bucket seats and a center console add a sporting premise to the 300C, and of course the tortoiseshell steering wheel appliques and even the handholds on the doors. Very classy stuff, unlike the gray plastic and black plastic stuff seen on previous Chrysler luxury cars. This really had a very serious luxury theme. 160 mile an hour speedometer, a tachometer that goes to 5,900 RPM. These are things that you would not see on a lesser Chrysler. And again, the 300C was a landmark vehicle, and it really transformed Chrysler's reputation. These are incredibly popular with people from all over every country and all over the nation. And again, it's all about that Hemi under the hood. Plenty of room inside these things. The back seat is massive. No problems like with you know, some other cars where the back seat is wide all the way across, and you can get 5 people in here with comfort. Leather seating. Nice carpeting on the floors, and unfortunately, no manual transmissions in the 300 or any Chrysler for that point. The Challenger could be had with a 5-speed or 6-speed, excuse me, a couple years later, but when they arrived in 2008. One thing that's cool though is the SRT 300 SRT, and those things had a 6.1 liter, 425 horsepower Hemi under the hood. Now, speaking of the Hemi under the hood, let's have a look at it. Now, under that hood, this is something worthy of discussion. Of course, being a large car, the curb weight on this could be as much as 4,100 pounds. So Chrysler did everything they could to reduce weight, including an aluminum hood skin right here. The magnet doesn't stick. So that's definitely a weight-saving trick right there. It wasn't cheap to do that. So again, that helps the car to get better CAFE, fuel economy numbers, aluminum hood. Shades of the Max Wedge cars of 1963 and 4, but without the Max Wedge. Okay, but here's the Hemi, the reborn Hemi engine. Let's have a look at it. And there it is. No prop rods here. Hydraulic struts lift up the hood. And there's that mighty 5.7 liter Hemi. Now here's the thing. These have an iron engine block, cross-bolted mains like the 426 Hemi of the 1960s. And they have aluminum cylinder heads with twin plug chambers. It really is a Hemi. I've done a bunch of magazine stories on these engines, dug down deep inside these things, and it truly is a hemispherical combustion chamber, double rocker shafts, just like this first and second generation Hemis. It's a Hemi. And Chrysler wasn't just playing around with the Hemi word as they did with the Mitsubishi motors back in the 1980s. A joke. These are not a joke. Let's lift up the plastic engine cover right here. 340 horsepower, 380 foot-pounds of torque, good horsepower. And here we have this puppy right here, which is adorned with the Hemi logo. But here's the thing. Underneath this, there are foam pads which nullify and deaden engine sounds. So that's basically part of the luxury theme that Chrysler wanted to bake into these things from top to bottom. And here's the intake manifold. Later SRT 6.1s have an aluminum intake. This is a polyester plastic manifold, nothing wrong with that. Throttle body at the front, and the ram-tuned manifolds, each of those runners, is about, I guess, 18 inches from plenum to valve, and there's a slight ram tuning effect, just like there was back in the early 60s when Chrysler was playing with ram tune on the cross rams and the 300 letter cars with the long rams, and the same basic idea plays out then as now. Now the firewall and the shock towers here look familiar to owners of E-Class Mercedes-Benz because they're similar but not identical. The front suspension geometry is much better than it would have been if Chrysler had designed this based on a front-wheel drive platform. So it's all new, and a little bit of Mercedes-Benz baked into these things. Of course, ABS braking, anti-lock braking system. There's the junction right there with the electric motor, which cycles the pressure to the wheel that needs it most. But again, just a tidy engine bay, and Chrysler was absolutely proud of the HEMI, the mighty Hemi engine. Of course, back in 1951 through 58, Chrysler had Hemi engines in all of their full-size cars, and this is the third version of the Hemi, and a worthy successor for sure. As we make our way to the trunk, let's remember that Chrysler offered a station wagon version of the 300 in foreign markets, never for America. The Dodge Magnum kind of filled those shoes here in the United States. It was basically a station wagon version of, not the Charger, but kind of the same idea. And again, in Europe and I think in Asia, they sold 300 station wagons. Now this one does have the optional sunroof, which is glass tinted. A little extra money for that, but just extra touch of luxury. Big rear doors, plenty of ability to get in and out, entry and egress right there. Now getting back to the trunk as we teased, let's open the trunk using the fob right here. Give it 2 clicks. And then we can explore the trunk of this thing. There's all kinds of room in there. The seats do fold down. If you want to put a couple of golf bags or some skis or whatever it is, you can use this thing to use pretty much any purpose. You can use these things, and lots of room inside that trunk. And again, Ralph Gilles, the chief designer of the 300, kind of gave it a factory chop top, sort of a gangster elegance, if you will. And here's the gas filler right here. And just a great example of the reborn rear-wheel drive American performance car. All over the globe, these things are very popular, and rightfully so. To learn more about this one here, go to the High-Octane Classics website and check out the photo gallery.